cards off the table. Okay, awesome. Well, hey there, it's Elke.
And Jen, and welcome to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious podcast. And today we have a very special guest.
Can we start again? Because you didn't say it right. You said Creative and Ambitious podcast.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's start again. All right, 1, 2, 3. Well, hey there, it's Elke.
And Jen, and welcome to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. And today we have a very special guest with us. This is the third time that she's been on our podcast. Everyone loves her interviews, and it's our very own Christine. I'm gonna.
Oh dear.
My email is open. Here we go. Okay. All right. Third time.
Also mention it's our 100th podcast, or do you want me to do that?
You can do that. Okay. There we go.
Okay.
All right. Christine. Okay.
Take
go.
2.
3.
Well, hey there, it's Elke.
And Jen, and welcome to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. And today we have a very, very special guest. This is the third time she's been on our podcast, and it's our very own wonderful Christine, who is a client of ours, who is one of our star students.
And the reason that we're on today with Christine is to celebrate our 100th episode. We're so excited, and we also want to showcase Christine because she is a prime example of what can happen when you go through our 5 strategy training. And we're so excited to hear an update from her today, give us all kinds of feedback in terms of how she's feeling now that it's been almost 5 years that we've been together and helped her through her Zazzle success journey. And she's going to drop a whole bunch of value bombs in terms of tips for you and her journey and what she's feeling and how her business is now and what she's going to do now that her business has become really truly passive almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you can never be completely passive, but she's gotten us really passive so far, as much as you could possibly get. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're so excited. Welcome Christine.
Hi, Jen and Elke. It's great to be back, and I would say snap, snap. It's your 100th episode. So
That's true.
snaps for you both. So, hi everyone. My name is Christine, and as Jen and Elke has said, I've actually been with them since 2018. So just a short introduction, I guess, about me. If you haven't heard the other podcasts, I discovered Zazzle back in 2016 as a way just to, try to earn money online. And then I set up my store, put up a few products, and then I kind of just left it alone. And then 2 years after, or by the end of 2017, I don't know, it just came to my mind, I just want to check how much I earned in those 2 years. So I earned $132 just for the first 2 years. And then I just kind of decided to try to learn more about it because, I haven't done anything on myself for those 2 years, but yet it earned. So that's when I found Jen and Elke. So I started working with them, started their coaching program with them in 2018. It was a bit difficult at first, but I've been able to manage to earn in my first year with them at $3,800 my first year. And then from there, 2019, I made $33,000. And then the succeeding year, 2020 was when I made my first 6-figure year.
I know.
Yeah. And 2021, another year of 6 figures, $150,000.
Can you repeat that number again?
Sorry.
I just said repeat that number again because it was like you were like question mark. I was like
was.
It's a big jump. When I started from my $132 to $150,000 in 2021. So that's a huge jump.
I know.
Snap.
So for this year so far, I've been making between $12,000 to $15,000 a month.
A month,
so,
yeah.
Say that again. A month.
A month.
I know. A lot of people listening are going like, how is that possible? they have never experienced that. And it's not even just Christine. There's more students that are doing that now who are in our program. So it's even though it's like it's really exciting, but it's becoming a little bit more of a normal within our community. And it's so exciting because Christine has given people that confidence
And that inspiration.
and that inspiration to do it, because she's proving that it's possible. I mean, we did it back then, but it's really proof that in 2022 and 2021, it's really possible to do that on the Zazzle platform. And so, Christine, kudos to you for taking that on and just making it happen for you.
Yeah.
And thank you guys. I mean, you've helped me start my foundation. I mean, your courses, at first it was kind of hard for me to comprehend, but in the long run, just talking with you guys, watching your videos, listening to listening to how you grew your business, that kind of kept me on. And as well as our community, just hearing what my fellow students have been doing kind of helped me like, okay, I'm not in this alone. I have other people who are in the same journey as I am. So that kind of really helped me in a way, yes.
Yeah, and I just want to give a little bit of a backstory. Christine is from the Philippines, and actually you have inspired others from the Philippines and from the Far East to say that it's possible, because first of all, there's that time difference, and because you basically sometimes had to get up in the middle of the night to join some of our live training, but it just showed your determination, and it showed your drive, and it also your discipline, because you can maybe explain a little bit more about you work for your parents in their business, and so you've really had to work on how to manage your time more effectively in terms of than others who just have all day free in order to get your Zazzle business up and running. Do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yes, that is actually my why. One of my whys, why I wanted to work hard, or why I wanted to start this online business. First, for one, I've actually come from a family of entrepreneurs, but it's been like I've been working with their own business and our own family business, but it's not exactly what I started my own. I was kind of like, you have to follow in our footsteps. So in my case, I kind of wanted to make my own path. So it was much more convenient for me, I mean, to create this online business wherein I can work basically anytime that when I wanted. It was pretty flexible for me. So yeah, like what you said, I work during the day with my family business, and then I take some hours during the night, or even sometimes on the weekends, or when I'm free to work on my business. And yeah, I just decided to really work on it, especially just that motivation that it's my own. I created this, so it's my baby. So I have to keep feeding my baby, growing it, and taking care of it. And yeah.
Well, I love the story you told us in the first time we interviewed you, that you didn't even have proper internet service sometimes, and you had to use cellular data. Can you talk about that again? I love that story.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one of the disadvantages of being here in the Philippines. Like, unlike in the US or in Europe or in most other countries, I guess, the internet here isn't that good. I mean, I even came to a point where my speed is only like 2 or 3 megabytes. 2 or 3. Wait, let's see that. 40 kilobytes. So it's really that slow. Came to a point to that, and then it even got worse if I work like in the outskirts, not in the city. So it's even slow, and I just had to rely on my mobile data, which is not that good. But yeah, it came to a point wherein I know that I wanted to make it a business when I made it a point to apply for my own internet service, because I know I could pay for this. My business now earning. So that's one of the points which I made like if you want to make this a business, you have to also invest on the facilities you need, a good laptop, internet service. Because I mean, that's the bloodline of an online business. You need proper internet. But yeah, as you said, it was really difficult at that time because I was meeting you at nighttime, my time, and because it's like 12-hour difference. But yeah, it was worth it. I mean, we were meeting only like 1 hour once every few weeks, I guess. But so that's not even much. It's like maybe I just think of it's like a girls' night out online, which is
I like that.
It's okay. Yeah.
Well, that's the one thing that we've noticed right from the beginning is that you don't let obstacles get in your way. And I think that's a huge tip for people to remember is when you're starting your online business, there's a purpose and there's a why, which we can talk about a little bit more because I want to hear more and have you tell more about your why. Besides the fact that it's your own business, right? Like that's huge already, but there's more to it, isn't there? Because you want to do some more things. But first, I just want to point out, Christine, we just like her dedication just always was forefront. It's like, how come she didn't like make that an obstacle? She could have. It would have been very easy to do so. And that's what we've always admired about you. And I think that's partly why you've done so well with the 5 strategies that we teach. Whereas when others hear those 5 strategies, they don't get that far as you have so quickly. And so really impressed by that the attitude and never letting something get in your way, always trying to find a solution, having a really good attitude. Girls' night out at 3:00 in the morning, Christine's on for a training session. Yeah. And so that's commendable and really a true factor of why you've done so well. Now, obviously, if someone else was in the same position, it's not expected that you stay up until the middle of the night, but that extra determination that it's just once in a while, or, it's worth it because in the long run it'll pay off, then that's really a great way to look at things for starting a business, because it's not handed to you on a silver platter, is it?
Yeah, you have to work for it, but it's not just working hard. You actually have to learn how to be smart, working smart and efficient, not just hard. You have to also learn how to be smart and efficient.
Yeah. And so when we, in our training, we suggest 20 hours a month, which is about 5 hours a week. And we talked about that earlier in our other podcast where we said, this really fit in well with your schedule because of the things that you had committed for your parents' business. And so can you talk to us about how when you first started out, were you able to stick to that 20 hours? And how is it now that you're, how kind of hours do you keep now?
When I started, I think I was working a little bit more, just maybe 25 hours a month, but I would usually only do that. Some nights I would stay 1 hour, weekends I would do like 3 hours in a week, but that was like not very often, because like what your program has taught me, not every hour is made for just creating products. That includes like your working your promotions, analyzing the data on your products. So basically it's like you have the planning stage, the work stage, and the analyzing stage. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty manageable because it's like whenever I know that I'm flexible and I know I can make time, that's when I do it. I don't really I kind of force myself to do it, but in not a way where it's like, if you're very tired, you don't have to do your work. Mm-hmm. And that's been my life, I guess, in Zazzle for the past until 2021. I mean, I tried to make time for like 20 hours, 20 to 25 hours a month, just working on that. But recently, like for this year, to be honest, I haven't been working that much in my store. I'm probably just working like 5 hours or less per month.
Yeah.
And and I don't really stress about it that much, like compared to before, because I was talking with you guys, like, it was so hard for me sometimes to make time, especially for time difference. I'm so busy. But now I think it stems from being able to say that what I've done in the last 5 years was laying the groundwork, doing everything smart and effective and efficient in such a way that I set up my store properly where it can start working for me. So for this year, I haven't really worked. Maybe I would just, check up on them.
Yeah.
Are you doing well? Is it doing well? Is it selling stuff we're supposed to sell? Or do I need to put a few products, but not to the point where I have to make a lot of products every month, but just managing it, because I know my stuff are selling and I just want to maintain them, not really grow anything or put anything new, but just maintaining them. And I think that really helped for the past years, knowing that I did everything properly, that I can leave it for a while and just do their own thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that comes back to that passiveness, right? Because everyone keeps talking about, you can't really have a passive online business, but you're truly showing that you can. And it really, there is, in terms of the other parts of what Zazzle is, because we haven't even really talked about that. I'm assuming that a lot of people here are going to just be listening because they already know about Zazzle. They're maybe struggling in Zazzle and trying to figure out how this could be a passive online business. So this is so great because people keep forgetting that you could actually create a passive online business with as little, as long as you've set up the basics and you use this Zazzle business model, it is really very passive. You're just maintaining, and you're doing 4 hours a month or less, or 5 hours a month, then that really allows that to be considered a passive income, right? Because if you're doing other things like investing, you're still going to check in with your investment advisor, and that's truly in passive income, right? And so Zazzle has the opportunity for people who set their business up like Christine to become that sort of another investment portfolio in a way, because you're just maintaining your stocks, which is your products, which are creating you the royalty income, and of course the referral and extra bonus income that comes from doing everything correctly and promoting properly. So that's how I look at it, and I think that's a really great way to shift from hobby to I'm desperately trying to make money online, to, like Christine said, I've got to show up and invest in my business if I want to make it a business, and then get to the point where it's running so smoothly because I've done the right things, or in this case Christine has done the right things, to just set it up properly and have it working for her rather than she working for it.
Yeah.
Do you want to say something?
Well, I think it's really great because for myself and Elke, we can always share our stories about how we had to stop working on Zazzle just because of, health issues and also family related issues. We had some events happen that were unexpected a couple years ago, and so we were just paralyzed, but thankfully we had set up our Zazzle businesses the way that Christine has now set up hers, where you can take time off and not have to worry. And I know that Christine also has had life issues in the past couple of months and years, so she also was very fortunate that she was able to set up her Zazzle business. But now, I don't know if she wants to share or not, but she's actually going to be taking time off on purpose because she gets to go now and study something that she's really excited about, going to school again. And so having that opportunity to build that business and feel secure and safe, let's say, that, you're able to take time off and actually relax and not have to worry. I mean, 5 hours a month, holy smokes, to make $150,000 a year, and then also $10,000 to $15,000 a month by working 5 hours a month, you go, girl. You're honestly.
Snap.
Snap.
I mean, obviously Christine had to work, and so everyone listening, if they didn't hear it, Christine woke up at 3 a.m. to come to our meetings. She used her cell phone data sometimes to do Wi-Fi. So there was some hardships in there, but obviously you have to make it work. And Christine was put in a situation where she just said, I don't care. I'm going to do everything that I can in my power to make this work. And that's why she is one of our star students, because of her dedication and just the fact that she knew she could do it, right? A lot of people, they get discouraged discouraged, or they see their obstacles as something that they can't overcome. And with Christine and even with Brandon, our two top students, they have just given it their all, right? Both Christine and Brandon, you work doing other things. You have your family business, you are working very full-time basically. And so the fact that you've been able to now take time out of your day and out of your week to create this business, as you called it, your baby, and have it grow, right? And now it's there with you, and basically you can just take time off and maintain, as you said, your business, which is wonderful. And we hope that for everyone, and that be Christine an inspiration for everyone out there who, first of all, lives in a different country. English is not your first language. English is one of your other languages that you speak. You live
very
in a
well, by the
way. Very well, by the way. You live in a country, as you said, where the Wi-Fi isn't the greatest, and also in one of our other previous podcasts, maybe you can talk about this, but your life was basically set up for you to run the family business or to move into your parents' footsteps, right? And so for you to create this business on your own, it was unheard of. A lot of, I don't know, maybe you can tell me and tell me if I'm wrong, but your family and also maybe your friends and your community never really thought that this is a possibility for you, right? And so for you to now create $1 million online business, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's been a journey. I mean, I don't have any graphic design experience. Nada. Nothing. I don't have good internet. I think I only had a basic desktop. I don't know how to use Photoshop. Until now, I don't know how to use Photoshop.
Yeah.
I'm just Paint. That's it. And of course, the Zazzle platform. But there were a lot of things for me. I knew at that when I met you, I knew that it was a lot. I think I knew that there was a lot to learn from you guys. And even during the start, I mean, you've mentioned several times, okay, if you're having difficulty in something, ask us. Just let us know, because maybe for you it's very hard, but for us it's just so simple, which was exactly what we did. I was thinking about, once I can remember, it's I was thinking, how can I create a mock-up? How do I make a nice banner design on my store? I don't know how to do Photoshop. And Ellie said, you can use Zazzle Create. Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. It's so simple. Then
yeah,
right then and there, it's every time I think I needed something to help, I just ask you guys, and then something that quick. I didn't know that. Yeah.
That's huge. It's simple, but it's so huge, because that's what a lot of people don't do. They get really stuck in their own head, and they go well, maybe I shouldn't ask that question. I should know that question, and I'll wait till someone else asks that question. Whereas if you're running your own business, you've got to ask those questions so that you can move ahead, so they don't keep you stuck.
Yeah. I just want to ask one quick question. I'm actually putting Christine on the spot, but when you first started to actually make your the most amount of money, so in the first 2 years you made $132, but then there was obviously one point where you're holy smokes, I've made $1,000, or today's my first, I don't know, X amount of dollar day. What did you feel and how did that feel to you, from going from $132 over 2 years, which is I don't even know, 0.000 pennies per day, right? To actually saying, holy smokes, this can actually be something to move forward with.
Well, when I made my first $1,000, for one, I was very excited. It's $1,000 here in the Philippines. That's a salary of maybe someone who works at a bank
Wow.
teller. So that's already huge for here. That's already, you can actually already rent your own condo.
Wow.
And maybe spend 1,000 pesos a day at the fast food chain or anything, or just live well on a 50,000. And to make that $1,000, for me, that's already huge.
Yeah.
That could be my day job.
Wow.
If I worked for someone else here. So that's why I guess that, well, if you ask me maybe back in 2018, that do you think you'll be able to reach $100,000 a year? I'd probably say, maybe I'll reach it in like 10 years.
Yeah.
That's what I would think. Because at that point, I think I was already happy with $1,000.
Yeah.
But I didn't really realize my potential then until by the second year, like 2019, when I worked with you guys, I like 10 times my income.
Yeah.
And then the following, I times 3 my income. I made my 6-figure year on my 3rd year with you guys. So it was like, even for you, that's fast. That's, for me, it's like overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I couldn't believe it, like 1,000. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. I could help people already with that.
Yeah. I love,
And I could already travel with that here.
that's crazy.
So-
And we forget about that because we earn money here in we live in North America, we're in Canada. And so we forget about that exchange in terms of where you're actually earning the money and spending the money. So for me, I remember you telling me in the previous podcast about in the Philippines, earning that amount of money is like you're a goddess, right? And so the fact that you're now earning $150,000 a year and that amount in 2021 or 2022 now, because you're actually more and higher, you're aiming for more. So to see that and have those sort of riches come in, and to have somebody from the Philippines be able to say, this is what I did, like that's huge, right? Like that I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I think it even came to a point for one, that I think that's one of my perks, like to have this online business, that I'm able to travel. I've been to the US several times around the world, and then my friends would ask me like, what do you do? What do you do? Why do you get to travel? I just have something online. And to them, I mean, when you hear that, even like for Filipinos in general, just not to judge, when you say that you have an online business, they would think like you're not really earning that much. And it's more like services, like, virtual assistants and everything like that.
Yeah.
But not an actual business. And not because like most of the things that you see that you want to earn an online business, like you get 1 million in a year, 1 million in a month, which for me, it's like overreaching. But I know that's kind of impossible for me to do in such a short time, which is kind of like scary, because I know it's not that possible to earn such a big amount in a short time, because I know that you have to work for it at some point. So for one, like my friends like in abroad would ask, what do you do? And then I think I realized even later on, like I had some friends, like of course I would know like the minimum wage in the US. So I'm actually sometimes earning more than what people in the US earn.
Yep. Yeah.
And they had to work for it.
Yeah.
Versus me, here in the Philippines, I don't really have to work that much. But then again, I'm earning more than someone who works in the US.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100,000 is a decent income to have every year.
And that's US too.
That's US. That's US.
Because if I change, like 150 US and Canadian is like 200 and some odd. I would say maybe 210,000 Canadian. So yeah, and for you as well, when you do the translation, the exchange rate for your money where you live in the Philippines, right? It's like, wow, as you said, it's interesting for you to say that you're in the Philippines and your perspective is that you're working online on your laptop, right? And that's it. But the fact that
somewhere between 20 to 5 hours a month.
And that you now have made the realization that you're making more money than someone who's literally working physically in a job in the United States. It's just like, as I said before, it's mind-blowing. And I mean, you said you didn't have to work for it, but that's not true. You did work for it. You created the business.
Yeah, I did work for it. Yeah, I did work for it, but it's like not.
Yeah, I understand. It's not the same.
Hard.
Yeah.
Not the same. Yeah, very flexible. I can do whenever I need to. I can still go out with my friends and then, just check in and flexibility.
It's
First of an online business.
it's the same.
Flexibility and travel.
Very true. I know, flexibility and travel. I'm bringing us to that point because we are going to wrap up in a bit, but we want to ask you what your plans are for the future, because you've got some exciting things going on, and now that you've set up your business, you can do exactly what you want.
Yeah, so I'm actually planning to go travel and most probably go for more studies. I mean, that's one of the things I've been wanting to do, study further. And I might, it's still gonna be business related. And yeah, and I don't have to worry about student loans, I guess, and everything, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
So
that's
I'm
very
pretty
big.
set up, yeah.
That's
And
very
I'm
big.
very happy. Yeah, I don't have to worry about that financially, and it's really helpful because I'm actually living my dream.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I just want to add in there that this isn't the end for Christine. This is just the beginning. This is now this next phase where Christine can just be very confident in knowing that even if something happens and her sales start to go down, she knows exactly what to do to bring them back up. And if she doesn't, she knows she can ask us.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a support system there. There's opportunities for, her to continue with like a mastermind or one-on-one coaching, so it's not, and I think that's actually where people who run businesses, especially entrepreneurs, succeed, is because they always have a mentor that they can help bounce things off of or get more help or whatever. And I think that's really part of what you have to think about. If you want to get to Christine's level, you have to think that way as well. And that's why we created all of this, because we could have easily just kept making money on Zazzle and just been on a beach somewhere. But instead, Jen and I have spent the last 4 years, I guess it's almost coming to 5, where we've been helping people online with the Zazzle platform. And you know what? It's so much more rewarding than sitting on a beach with pina coladas, even though that's what I love to do. This excites me. This helps me see that, changing of lives is so much more important. What you do with the money, how you can help people with money is so exciting and so important. And it just allowed us to get to meet so many people like Christine. And even though we haven't physically met, when COVID's better and you're traveling, now that you're traveling this year, we're definitely meeting. We're definitely meeting. Because, yeah, definitely. So thank you so much for being on the podcast. Again, so much information, so many really valuable tips for people who are just starting out their journey. And I love the confidence that you exude. And that comes from just, first of all, your personality and not letting anything get in the way, but also that you've done the work, you followed the plan that you knew worked, you asked questions when there was problems or you didn't know, and you just didn't give up, and nothing stood in your way. And now you're reaping those rewards by working 5 hours or less a month and making 6 figures consistently, and with no end in sight in terms of that going down, while you get to travel and do the other things you'd love. And like you said, you're living your dream, which I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
And yeah, it's been a joy to meet you. Well, online. And it's gonna be even better when we meet face to face.
Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely. Wonderful. So thank you so much for Christine for being on the podcast. And yes, if you haven't listened to Christine's 2 other podcasts, we're going to link them in the show notes here, and you definitely have to check them out. So thank you so much for listening and watching on YouTube, and we will see you in the next episode.
And thank you for being our guest for our 100th episode.
Yes.
It was just perfect timing, and we're incredibly honored that you're sharing so much, because you don't have to. And hopefully that inspires others to pursue their dream, right? That's the whole point of this. And thank you for being so open with everything that you've done and your journey with us.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Christine, so much.
You're welcome. Glad to be here again. Happy 100.
Yes. Happy 100. Snap, snap, and heart. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
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 Okay. Stop recording.
Recording stopped.
There we go.